Alright, we've got one more, which is a good reminder of what FOILing looks like when we have a binomial times a binomial. It also lets me, since this is on the same slide, talk about a binomial times a trinomial, which is 3 terms. So we use the word FOIL for a binomial times a binomial. We are not going to use the word FOIL for a binomial times a trinomial. FOIL is just an acronym for a binomial times a binomial. That's why I keep stressing that really all we're doing is taking the first term and distributing it through to the second set of parentheses. So we're taking each term in the first set of parentheses and distributing it to the second set of parentheses. So 4x times 3x is 12x squared. 4x times negative 6 is negative 24x. Then I'm going to take my 2 through. 2 times 3 is 6x. And 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. So I've got 12x squared plus negative 18x plus negative 12. Now looking down here, we cannot use the terminology of FOIL, so we have to think about what we were doing up top. We were really taking the first term and distributing it to each term of the second set of parentheses. It's just this time, instead of just distributing twice, we now have to distribute it 3 times because there's 3 terms on our second set of parentheses. So I have 6n times 2n squared. That would be 12. This is n to the first, so I end up getting n to the third. Plus 6 times 1, which is 6. N to the first times n to the first is n to the second. Then I have 6n times 7, which is 42n. The second part of this is to distribute the negative 8 through to each of the same terms. So negative 8 times 2n squared is negative 16n squared. Negative 8 times n is negative 8n. And then negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have only just this 12n cubed, but then I have 2n squared, so I've got 6n negative 16, which gives me a negative 10n squared. And then I have a positive 42 and a negative 8, which gives me a 34n. And then I have a negative 56. Let's do one more of those. This time I have it flip-flopped, the trinomial than the binomial, but it's really no different. You can keep them in the same order, or you can flip-flop them around and do it the same way we did before. But you're really just taking the term, the first term, and distributing it to the second set of parentheses. Since there's only 2 terms in the second set of parentheses, we only do it twice right now. So I've got 3x squared times 2x, which would be 3 times 2 is 6. 6x to the 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Distribute my x squared through. Now my second term here, I'm distributing it through. Got to do it twice, so I've got negative 2x times 2x, which is a negative 4x to the second. Negative 2x times 7, which is a negative 14x. Now the last thing I'm going to do is multiply my 3 through. So I've got 3 times 2x, which would be 6x. 3 times 7, which is 21. Like terms are my x squared terms and my x terms. So if my final answer would be 6x cubed plus 17x squared plus negative 8x plus 21.